Hi everyone, and thank you that you are watching this video. The response we had the first time is tremendous. We just want to give a voice to those that have lost kids and just going through stuff like we are. So that's what we are doing here. We are sharing a bit about Matteo's gift of hope. So firstly, I want to just tell you about what and who Matteo was. He was one busy boy. I know there's a lot of people that's watching this video that don't really know us or didn't know Matteo, so we just want to give a brief overview of his life. Yeah, a busy boy. Like really, he would keep us busy from the moment he wakes up in the morning until he goes to bed. Then we got Eli, and then it was those two together were
horrible.
It gave us fun things to talk about around the table, the stuff that they could conjure up together. So yes, he was a very busy boy. So that will give you a bit of more perspective when Rizal talks about the 2-3 days following up to his passing.
So just to add on to Matteo, he was the mischievous one in the house, and we had to watch him very closely. Every move he made, we had to watch him. So it happened on a Thursday morning. I can't remember when exactly in October last year. It was 2 days prior to his passing, or a day prior to his passing. Matteo got up, was busy, got ready for school, had breakfast as normal, kissed, hugged, played, you name it. Went to school, and about 10ish the school phone was telling me that he's not doing too well. He's just lying on the carpet and he's got a fever. So I'm like, but this isn't the boy that I know. So I phoned my husband. At that stage I was at home. I had just left my job, which we will get on about later in the videos, but and I phoned Chris to go and fetch him. So Chris went, fetched him, he came home, and he looked like a normal child that had flu. He was
or a stomach bug.
Yes, he was feverish, he was moody, he didn't want to eat, nothing. So I left him to sleep a bit and gave him some medicine. And about an hour or so later, I asked him if he wanted something to eat, and he said no. And I knew we had chocolate spread in the house, and who doesn't love chocolate spread? So I made him a sandwich with chocolate spread on. He had about a sandwich, and straight after that, he started complaining of stomach ache, severe stomach ache. And I saw this child. This is a normal stomach ache. So I phoned Chris, booked doctor's appointment, everything. We took him to a normal GP. The GP looked at him, everything. Because of his age, kids of his age, 4.5 years old, tend to get their intestines knotted due to various reasons. So the doctor said that might be a possibility. Let's take him for a scan. So we took him
to see the other option of maybe appendicitis.
Yes, true. So we took him for a scan, and the scan came back that it looked like there was fluid in his bowels and everything, but they weren't too sure. So first off, they're gonna treat him with antibiotics, and the doctor said just to monitor him closely. So I still remembered when we were at the doctor. At that stage we were in between medical aids. So I still remember telling the doctor, if you need to admit my son, you're gonna admit him no matter what. Even if I have to sell my household contents, that will happen. He's not going to a public hospital. He'll get the best care there possibly is. So he said, no, let's not jump to conclusions. We'll check it later on. So we went back home. He was very lethargic. He was pale.
Cold.
And he was starting to get cold, everything. And he told us he wanted to see his gran. He said, "Ek wil my ouma sien." So we made his gran come and visit him, and he kept holding her the whole evening, telling her that he's cold, she must hold him, she must just keep him warm, everything. And you know, as a mom, you've got this feeling something is wrong. You just have that extra instinct within you that something is up. So in any case, everybody went home. We got ready for bed. At that stage, he already started breathing difficult, but we thought, okay, maybe it's because of the pain that he's in, that might be the reason for his breathing. At about 11ish on Thursday evening, he started vomiting profusely. He wouldn't stop. No matter what we did, we gave him fluids. Every time we wanted to give him fluids, he didn't want to drink. We did everything. I think we must probably sleep for 2 hours that whole evening, if it was 2 hours. I still remember trying to coach him how to breathe comfortably, just how to breathe so he can get some air into his lungs. At about before 8 that morning, I told Chris, no, this child needs to go back to the hospital, to the doctor. We took him back to the doctor. The GP said he's going to treat him. His stomach is a lot softer than the day before. So he's going to treat him for the vomiting, and then we must just monitor it. So he recommended we give him some cream soda.
But he also didn't just treat him for vomiting, but also gave him a Buscopan injection for the stomach.
For stomach aches,
yes.
So followed suit what the doctor had said and everything, and came back home. And I still remember Matteo was sitting at the table, and our helper was at home that day, and she was like a second mom to him. And we both walked into the lounge, and Matteo was just gone. We couldn't find him. And as we exited the house, we saw him sitting in the sun and playing with, I think it was a car or something. We told him, what was he doing? And he's like, no, he's feeling very cold. He just wants some sun. So like, okay, that's very weird. And about 12-ish, around about there, I told Chris to come home. He needs to come and look at his son. He's not well at all. So Chris came home. I still remember we had a huge fight about, are we going to take him to the hospital, are we not? We had a fight while we were busy fighting. I don't know if you guys know the testimony of Jeremy Camp and his wife, his first wife. So if you don't know, just to make the testimony a bit short, she had cancer. They did everything in their power, prayed to God, you name it. She didn't get healed, and she passed away. You guys can go read up about it. I know he's quite verbal about it, and it's quite open on the internet. So I told Chris in the fight, he said he's standing on God's word, that God said he's a healer, he will heal his child. He's not taking any of that nonsense of his child won't be healed.
Because, like I told you guys in the first video, I come out of 14 years of working at the church. So I've seen firsthand healings. I've seen people coming out of situations victorious. So I was very adamant that, sorry, I'm not going to take my child to the hospital, and what will they do? Just give him medicine, or maybe he's sick, and let's rather take him to church. Let them pray for him instead of taking him to hospital.
So I still remember empty in the fight. I told Chris, but what if God comes and takes Matteo just as he took Jeremy Camp's wife? And at that moment, I didn't realize what I was saying. So we took him for prayer at the church, and yeah, about 4-ish, we said no. Chris eventually gave in, and he's like, let's take him to the hospital. So we have amazing family who loves our kids to bits, and they offered to take Eli for the weekend, just so that we can be with Matteo. After we dropped Matteo off with them, Eli off with them, we rushed Matteo through to the ER, and at the ER, during the Friday, Matteo didn't vomit once. So as we stopped at emergency rooms, he vomited for the first time. And I still remember running to the back while Chris was sorting out through everything and asking the nurse for a bowl just in case he vomits again, so it's not everywhere. And as the nurse brought the bowl, she saw how pale Matteo was, that there was no life left in him, nothing. So they rushed him to triage. And in triage, it was the worst scene ever. They chased us out because they couldn't find veins to draw blood, so much so that they had to cut his hand open to get blood in order to do the blood test. He kept asking not to leave him. Eventually his breathing increased because of the oxygen he was put on, but it was a horrible, horrible scene. Right there we started notifying family and friends that Matteo was sick. So
if you look beside the fact that our kid was really sick and they struggled getting veins and stuff, there was, I think, load shedding or something going on at the same time. And while he was in triage, the power went off 5, 6, 7 times, that the doctors actually put the flashlight of their phones so that they can just see what's happening. So this is us now, seeing our kid is suffering, seeing the hospital, he doesn't even have light. They're doing it with their cell phones, and it was at that moment where it dawned on us that something is wrong. Something bad is coming.
Yeah, so it was just a nightmare from the get-go since we got to the hospital. Like you said, the power outages, it was shift changes for the doctors, everything. So after a while the blood test came back and it confirmed that he had a very high infection count. At that stage they only saw it as a sort of stomach bug, so they said they'll admit him for a 3-day diarrhea treatment. We paid cash up front, everything. They admitted him. So as they wheeled him to the peds ward, was a peds ward, I told Chris, just after we settled him in, at that stage they already started turning up the oxygen without us even realizing. I told Chris, listen, I'm going to go home quick, fetch clothes, then I'll come back, then he can come home, because I knew he had to work, everything, we'll sort everything out. I wasn't even halfway home, I got a call from Chris to tell me that I need to come back immediately, he needs to be moved to ICU. So of course, that's not something you want to hear on your way home.
Because while she was away, the ped that was on call came there, and still today don't know what they were saying, but they were speaking among the nurses, and I could see there was a look of desperation on their faces. And I asked them, listen, what's going on? And the ped told me there that, listen, this boy needs to go to the ICU. He can't stay in a normal ped ward. So that's why I phoned Giselle and said, turn back, come back.
So I got back there, rushed him through scans. We had to wait for the on-call, the guys who does the scans or whatever, can't come up with their names or whatever. They did the scans, everything, rushed him back to ICU, went back for another scans. When they did the last scan, they saw a lot of free fluid in his stomach, but during this whole time, no one ever told us what was happening, what was going on, what are the symptoms related
and
to.
what's the possibility that he can have? Nothing.
Exactly. No communications from doctors, from nurses, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So at the last scan, they saw a lot of free fluid, and the ped, all of a sudden she started running, and I just stopped her midway, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? She's like, no, she's going to call the on-call pediatrician, the surgical pediatrician. He needs to come in and have a look. So I said, okay, fine. After the whole scan, they wheeled him back to ICU, and they kept us outside the ICU ward. So we were waiting, and then
that was about 11 o'clock when they wheeled him in, and they said that we can't go in because they have to set him up and do all the stuff. So we were sitting outside for half an hour to 45 minutes, not knowing what's going on with our boy, what's happening, what can he maybe have. We just heard it was a stomach bug, and now he's in the ICU, and we haven't even spoken to him for 45 minutes yet.
Exactly. So all of a sudden the pediatrician came out, and she just looked at us with this blank stare on her face, and I was like, okay, what do you need us to do now? What can we possibly do to help? And she's like, you can't be in ICU, you can't stay here, because there's no need for you to be here. He's under 24-hour surveillance, he's got a dedicated nurse assigned to him. Go home, get some rest, and then you come back. So we were just looking at her, and she said, but before you go, I need to tell you guys that his oxygen levels are very low, so the chances of him being intubated is very big. But if he gets intubated, there's a chance he might not come off of it. Right there, it just dawned on me that I might not bring my child home the next day. And she told us, go in and go say goodbye before you guys go home. We'll call you and keep you up to date. So we went in, and as we walked in, I saw that he was in an isolation room. So nothing clicks at that moment. All the signs are there, but you actually just want to see the good out of this. You don't even realize that, listen, there's something bad waiting for you.
But nobody ever thinks, my kid is gonna die.
Exactly.
That was the last thought going through your mind. You're just like, we were just so in the dark. What is happening with our boy? So the last thought was like, maybe this is the last time. So, yeah. Went into greeting.
We went into greeting, and he still said, he couldn't speak at that stage. He was very, very weak. And I told Chris, okay, it's time for us to go home. We went home, had a cup of coffee, had a quick shower, and we're like, okay, we'll sleep for an hour, and then we'll go back to to the hospital, whether they need us there or not.
No, we said we were going to wake up tomorrow morning early.
Okay. So Chris fell asleep and I was lying in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. No matter what I tried, I was upset. My son's not home. I'm not there. It was horrible. Eventually, when I fell asleep, I don't know whether it was a premonition, whether it was a dream, whether it was I can't tell you what it was, but I literally saw two women standing over my son, and the heart monitors in the background was a flat line. And I was like, oh, what the hell? And I still remember that evening telling God that if you take my son today, don't ever expect me to serve you again. I've given up a lot for you, but this is going way beyond what I'll ever give up. So I just fell asleep and Chris's phone rang.
20 past 1 in the morning. They phoned us and said, Mr. Adams, you guys must come to the hospital immediately. And I asked why, what's going on. So just come immediately. So I told you, we both woke up when my phone rang. So we got dressed, went to the hospital, 5 minutes away from us. So on the way there, it was probably the most silence.
There was no noise in that car. It was a silent drive to the hospital.
Because we were expecting the worst. You don't get a phone call 1:30 in the morning to say that your kid is doing better. So when we walk there, we're like, what if?
So in the car, on the way to the hospital, I really started crying. Chris didn't even notice, because you're so in your own world, you just want to stay and keep it together for the next person. And I didn't tell him about the dream or anything. And as we walked into his room, I saw exactly the two ladies standing over him with the heart monitor in the background. And all that the Pete could tell us was that he's gone.
So when we asked her how, what, why, how can this be, in disbelief, they just said they tried their best. They just told us that no matter what they tried, no matter what they gave to him, he was just too far gone. When I looked at the ICU chart later on, you can actually see from the moment that he was booked in, they gave him stuff to get better, EpiPen, you name it. Can't remember all the terms and stuff, but they really tried the best, because they didn't know what was really happening. So 20 past 1 or 18 minutes past 1, it was the time of death that they noted on the ICU chart, and that's when they phoned us, and that's when we were at the hospital and received the bad news.
Yeah, so at that moment, when you stand in the room looking at that lifeless little body, it feels like the whole earth can just swallow you in. Nothing matters anymore. Not your child that's left behind, not your partner next to you,
not your religion,
not the family, nobody. You just want to bring back that little lifeless body lying on that bed. Matteo came to us at a time when a gynecologist also told us that we won't be able to get pregnant anytime soon. So he really was
a miracle baby.
A miracle baby to us. And I was telling Chris the other day that Matteo's meaning, the meaning of his name, is a gift from God. So if you look at a gift isn't time bound. It isn't guaranteed for a certain time, or it might give you pleasure for a time or a certain period, but there's no guarantee to it. And today, for the first time, I actually understand what his name meant. And everybody who knew Matteo knew that he truly was a gift, and he touched so many people's lives. So yeah,
the moment you give your child a name like Matteo, gift from God, you expect great things from his life. Every time when I took him out of the car, prayed over him, said, yeah, you're going to become something great, my boy. Lying in the hospital bed, lifeless, gone. You're thinking, but I had so many dreams for this boy. And that is one of the main reasons why we started this channel. That his life may still be of meaning. That his life that he lived might still bring a gift for anybody or anyone who's watching this video. So that in our journey that we are having as parents who lost one of their kids, we can maybe just bring hope. We can maybe just bring a gift, comfort. And in our process of healing, maybe somebody out there can also receive healing and can also get just one step closer to where they ought to be in their life.
So yes, that is Matteo's story, short and sweet. What happened in those 48 hours, you can basically say. There's some detail we'll color in a bit later on in more videos, like how we decided on his memorial theme, all that type of stuff. But yeah, we do hope that this might help someone.
Yeah, we trust that it will help somebody, and look out for the next one. Like we said, that we're going to try to do this, if life permits it, 2 to 3 times a week. We are both very busy, but we will push out videos as we can and as the emotions allow us to. But thank you for joining us. Looking forward to your guys' comments and responses, and thank you for sharing this. Thank you for the people who know that this video can maybe touch somebody's life. Thank you very much.